On the books, there's only a little over like 2,000 billionaires, but off the books, you have to stop taking into consideration single individuals and what's in their name. You got to think that Larry Fink at the top of BlackRock. Now, BlackRock has been called for quite some time the fourth branch of government. Think about that. And what's happening in the financial class, you're not going to hear the names of these people. They're not going to be the Bill Gates or the Elon Musks that are out there saying, look, I made 70 billion this year. Another billion is just a blip on my phone. It's even outside of that. When we're talking about, Larry Fink is one of the lead economic advisors for the World Economic Forum. It's not even purely about money, because you may, as an individual like Elon Musk, have $280 billion, and that's great. But we're talking about people who are controlling mega financial multinational corporations that have access to trillions of dollars. So like, it's not even an individual, like how many of them are there? It's under a cloud of corporations. So like, I mean, you guys know there's only 12, 13 corporations that own the seemingly infinite supply of competing, ma and pa shops, but they're not. They're actually under the same company. That's really where the power seems to lie the most. And that's when I say seems to lie. Yes, they have the agreements, they have the money, they have the agreements, they have the alliances. But when we're talking about legally, what is legal? This is a legal agreement. It's an agreement. It's a contract that we have with one another. People have to believe it. I can use paper money still right now for the time being because people still believe in it. So what we're really talking about, and I want to go back to what Stan was saying about the, like ragging on the Q-tards. Like the whole thing about Q is not as simple as a bunch of country bumpkins believing something into existence in the millions. I think that was an intelligence agency, incredibly intelligent psyops that was directed at one side, and there will be another, and it will be for the left for sure. And then we'll have that thing to meme about, like, look at those retards and those idiots over there. When the whole thing about Q, that was intelligently done to hijack people's brains. And I'm sure every conspiracy has to have a little bit of truth in it. Like, trust the plan. Yeah. It sounds dumb. Trust the plan sounds dumb, but there's also a truth to it. Like, trust that there's a higher plan, that there's a deeper conspirator here. So that's how you hook people, is by using truth in a new narrative. That wasn't just a bunch of like redneck MAGA hat wearing people that dreamed that up. That was an intelligence agency psyop. And the same thing may be the thing for flat earth. And I'm not even saying that I have a problem with flat earthers. I think it's beautiful that we are questioning and challenging everything down to the shape of the earth. I have no problem with flat earthers. I have problem because it's not flat earthers that are trying to, push us into a trace and track smart grid. It's not them. So I think the thing with the narrative is to make us distrust our neighbors. And I completely agree, Sam, when you were saying to chop up the United States into a bunch of warring factions. So we're more focused on the stupid little things that divide us rather than how brilliantly we can create. Like, think of Pink Floyd. They didn't like each other as a band. Stewart Copeland and Sting, they had massive ego problems. But what did they do? They set that aside. They set aside all the gender issues and the race issues and all the blah, blah, blah to do what? To create harmonics, to create beautiful music that they couldn't have done without each other. So if we're going to get out of this narrative that's distrust your neighbor and don't worry about Klaus Schwab, if we're going to trust that narrative, we're fucked. But if we want to get out of it, then we need to start realizing that, like, okay, I don't need to agree with all these people. I need to find a way to collaborate and bring harmony with these people to the planet. I'll give one more example. There was this woman who, she was for PETA, she was for the ethical treatment of animals, but she realized that ever increasingly more, there's more and more chickens in these terrible, and pigs and cows in these terrible conditions. So she decided to go to the people that she found the most reprehensible. The people who are chicken farmers and pig farmers and cow farmers, and said, and start dealing with coalitions with them and asking them, like, why do you do this to these animals? Most of them blew their mind because they were like, oh, we hate doing this. We hate that these animals are so sick, but we are under the control of big ag. We can't do anything about it. We'll lose our way of life. So she was realizing it's not their fault. It's the economic control system.
Yes.
We're complaining about the wrong people.